What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Let's Build video. In the video today, I'm going to show you how I made my Dilophosaurus display base. I had some people over on Instagram ask to see how I made it, and in the video today, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's super easy, basic stuff that you can buy at any sort of craft store, online, or whatever. You're just going to need some patience, some time, and some creativity. This base is going to be for the Mattel Dilophosaurus, so it's going to have the first Jurassic Park vibe to it with the East Dock sign, the Barbasol can, and everything like that. So to start off the base, you're going to need the material for your base, and for that we're going to be using some Sculpey oven baking clay. That's a tongue twister. So once you get the clay how you want it, just going to kind of lay it down on the table here, and I like to try and stick to an oval shape. Of course, it doesn't have to be a perfect oval. You want to leave some material to stick the sign and everything like that down into, of course, rocks and whatever you're going to put into it, little stones or pebbles or whatever. So now that I've got it all pressed out into the general shape that I'm wanting to go with, I'm going to texturize it, and for that I like to use lava rocks. And these are just basic kind of landscaping lava rocks. I have different sizes here with different size holes in them and stuff, if you can see that. But basically what I do, go around and push it down into the clay, and you get some really nice pebble texture like this. And then once it's all texturized, you can see the little pebbles in it and stuff. So the Barbasol can, I actually am making it out of a little piece of wooden dowel. And it's going to be a very small piece, so the detail on it doesn't have to be super crazy, because it's just going to kind of sit down in this kind of muddy area down in there like that. And then you can take some pebbles and stuff from outside, look, little river rocks and stuff, little round ones, and getting a little assortment here, and then just kind of randomly put them down into the clay. Okay, step number 2, before you bake the thing in the oven, you need to make your East Dock sign. This is if you want to stick it into the mud and have it broken. If not, then whatever kind of post you're going to use for it, you can just go ahead and take that and stick it into the clay. That way it has a base to hold into. But mine's going to be broken, so I need to make the East Dock sign first. That way I can set it into the clay to get the slot for it, so it can set in after it's done baking. So of course the East Dock sign, I've made it before in a video, but we'll go over it real quick here. For those of you who haven't seen it, you're going to need to go on the internets, go to Google, just do a Google search for, Jurassic Park East Dock sign, and there will be several searches online that you can find images of it. Of course, print one out to the scale that you need. I've got this one printed out already because I've done a few of these before. And this is where it gets a little trickier. You're gonna have to build a hard cutout of this. So I have a video, I'll put it in the description box below. I show you how to do that. So go check that one out. I'm not gonna cover it in this video. We're just gonna focus on the base itself. But it's not difficult, but it's not super easy. It's gonna take some time. But in that video, I have already made my resin cutouts that I make. So I pour these with resin, and then I can pop them out, and they're already ready to go. Like I said, I have made this a few times, so this is taking the time to do this really helped a lot. So I don't have to do it every single time, but you get your little East Dock signs out, and then I like to use in the video I used to pour my own resin post, but it had a difficult time getting it straight. So this is, I'm actually using just a wooden dowel, which it works really well because when you break it, it has that nice little realistic broken edge on it, so it looks really good. All right, so I got the East Dock sign assembled here, and I've got it broken into 2 pieces. So I'm gonna take the first pole here, and I'm just gonna stick it in the ground. I think that's where I want it to go. And then the East Dock sign is gonna kind of lay here at an angle like this. And we're gonna sink it down into this mud as far down as we can go with it. Okay, last step before we bake everything in the oven, we want to set up our foliage. Now, on Amazon I bought some little plastic palm trees, and they come in several different sizes, from really big ones that are about 7 or 8 inches tall to these little tiny ones here. They're about 3 inches tall, and then there's even smaller ones that are about 2 inches tall. Now, I have no need for those that are out of scale with anything, but the tops of the trees work really well for foliage. So I actually just pop the top off of one of these and stick a little stake in there. So I'm using these little tiny wooden dowels and just snipping off a tiny bit and putting them up the palm tree right there. And we can take these and we can place them in the clay, and it gives us a little cool foliage jungle effect. So I'm going to take all this stuff out carefully. I want to keep those holes in there. Oops. Okay. Pop this guy out. There we go. And then I'm going to take the East Dock sign out while it bakes in the oven. So I don't want anything to catch on fire. But there's the little imprint for it, so it'll rest right in that once it's done baking. Also take out the Barbasol can, just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and bake this in the oven, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got the base baked in the oven, rock solid, ready to roll. But of course, you guys know here I like to take things to the next level. So I made a silicone mold and casted this part in brown resin. So now I can make multiple copies of it, and I don't have to just make this same thing every single time I want to make one. And this right here is just gonna make it a lot stronger. It won't break, you know, because the clay is a little fragile. If it does fall, it will crack. So the resin definitely makes it a lot stronger. And I made it with the simple proto putty mold that I normally make a lot of my my things in, like dino damage pieces and bases and stuff like that. So of course, you know, it's an exact copy of the clay mold here, and everything fits perfectly in it, just like that. So the next step is to paint this. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that. All right, so the base is already brown, but I want to give it a little more detail. So the first base coat that I'm going to put down is going to be some coffee latte brown. Mix it all up here. And this is the fun part, you know, painting it, because then you get to kind of paint it whatever color you want. You get to be creative, and like, remember, we're making wet, rainy mud, so you don't have to be neat and you don't have to be pretty with this. So we're going to go in and we're just going to attack this. Scrub it down into all the little nooks and crannies. So before we do the wash, at this point I want to attach the East Dock sign, super glue it down, because we're going to be splatting mud on this thing. We want some of the wash to get on it. We want it to be dirty and muddy looking. So I'm actually just going to drop some super glue in the post hole here and stick the post in. And the same with the East Dock sign. I'm gonna run super glue along here. And I'm gonna go ahead and set this into place. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do the mud splatter, and the paint that we're using is the same color that we did the base coat in. And now this is a real fun part, because you can either do it with an airbrush or do it just with your mouth. But you want to get some thinned down paint that you used here, and you basically want to either blow at the bristles to the object that you're wanting to splatter the mud on, or, you know, use the airbrush. I'm going to use the airbrush, and you just basically splatter mud. It's as simple as that right there. All right, so we're gonna let all of this dry, and then we're gonna apply the wash. Okay, so all this is dry, and for the wash, we're gonna turn to our trusty friend, transparent burnt umber, a great weapon to have in your painting arsenal. And we're gonna take a few drops of this burnt umber right into the little palette here, Now we want to cut it with just a little bit of water, just a little bit, and then get a brush to mix it around. And this is going to be your kind of shade wash. All right, so there we go. So we're going to let this dry fully, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so the next step is going to be creating the illusion of muddy water right here in this area. And for that, I'm going to get our little tray out, and I'm going to get some of this gloss top coat. We're going to fill that tray up with some of this gloss top coat. And then we're going to take some sepia ink. And the sepia ink is going to get mixed in with the gloss top coat, just a couple drops. All right, then we're going to take it and we're going to just glop it on into here. We can carry it on in up into here. And you get that nice glossy water, a little muddy stream running right down here, right over the Barbasol can. All right, guys, so it is the next day. This took overnight to dry because of how much wash I used down here in the little creek area. But it's looking nice and sharp. We got a lot of awesome detail going on in here, a lot of dark spots, a lot of high spots. That wash really did its job. The exact effect that I was going for right here is looking good. So this part right here is done for now. We're gonna move on to the plants. All right, so we got one of the little trees here. Got some green in the airbrush, and we're gonna go at it from up top. Give it a nice even coat. And you can see here the difference in them, you know, it just kind of has more of a natural, there's got some shadows in there, light spots, dark spots, and this just kind of has that one solid plastic color. So it really adds a nice effect to the plastic plants if you choose to use these. So I definitely recommend giving them a shot of a light green or something just to take that plastic sheen away. All right, last up here, we're going to drop some super glue down into the holes where the plants are going to go, just to lock them into place. And we'll put the small one here. We'll kind of let that drape over the East Dock sign just a little bit. The big one back here. Okay, last step. I'm going to take a little of the sepia wash. I'm going to wash these plants. It's thin down, so it's just the sepia ink thin down with some water. I'm going to go over these little branches and stuff just to give some shadow down in there, make them look like they're mucky and dirty. Well, alright guys, so here is the finished product. We have the Dilophosaurus standing proudly over the broken East Dock sign, and it's looking super, super awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found the information useful and you're able to take it and create your own moment in time from your favorite Jurassic movie. Remember, for more Jurassic Park related content, you guys know where to find me. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video.